Before we jump in, a quick note of who's behind this podcast. Imagine this. You're about to close this massive deal. You've been grinding for it. You're pumped. And then your customer's legal team decides to make things interesting. What happens if you get hacked? How do you protect your data? And then your brain just goes blank. That's the nightmare founders deal with all the time. That's actually what YSecurity solves, the sponsor of today's show. There are 40 plus security engineers who've actually done security at Apple, Uber, Microsoft, Robinhood, Brex, and so many more. And get this, you don't hire them, you rent them by the hour. No massive salaries, no expensive consultants, just real experts embedded in your company helping you get SOC 2, ISO, HIPAA, whatever it is that you need to close that big deal. Set a monthly cap, know exactly what you're spending, and close the deal. Head to ysecurity.io/startups and book your free strategy call. Your first 8 hours are free. 40 engineers, one full working day, totally free. Go take it. ysecurity.io/startups. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Security Podcast of Silicon Valley. I'm one of your hosts, John McLaughlin. I'm joined with the other host, Sasha Sinkovich.
Greetings, everyone.
And today we have an amazing guest, Alexis Lingad, who is the founder and COO of Kinosec.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Alexis.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Would you like to share with all of our listeners, what have you been up to over there at Kinosec?
Yeah. Currently, we're in SF, and we just built the cyber weapon. It's not really a cyber weapon, but they call it a cyber weapon that can be the next Palantir that takes action and then take the bad guys out or neutralize high-profile threats within the world. So it's mostly Palantir for offensive cyber operations.
It's Palantir for offensive cyber operations. It's a cyber weapon. Expand on that a little bit. What does that mean? How does it work?
Yeah. So basically, we created a god level hacker that can gather intelligence and for some specific target, and after that we have capabilities to hack within the digital, within the physical realm, and we use those capabilities in order to neutralize those operations of the high profile threats. Like, for example, if there's terrorists, we hack them regarding with their financials, and in order to stop all of those things, or with the making them bad with the social and stuff like that, or just to make their lives miserable and stop operating in this specific country of the one who purchased our product.
And this has a potential of being a very impactful tool. Can you tell us what prompted you to create the product and the company behind it?
Yes. So when I was a kid, I wanted to become Batman. That's why I learned hacking. And then when I was in college, I hacked my college and gave them the report of how I hack in so that I can help them. But they didn't like it, so I got kicked out. And
What college was that?
yeah. I mean, I cannot tell it in here. Yeah, I mean, it's bad
Okay.
publicity for
We
them.
can't talk about, yeah.
You mentioned something. This is a very powerful tool, and I just want to double click. With adoption of AI, people start talking about the governance and the impact on human life. How do you balance the power behind the AI technology, especially when you chain it? And I imagine this is one of the things that you guys do is you chain multiple agentic executions, you add it very explicit context. How do you balance the impact that can be produced by the agents and the safeguards?
Oh yeah, so basically, we have a scoping at the very, very beginning of every attack that we're doing. And whenever we already have a scope, we go with that and then see all of the attack surfaces within, and check if we're going outside of that specific attack surface, then um, usually it will have a kill switch in order to not hack the whole world.
But we know that certain models are not honoring kill switches. And if you open to talk about the models that you're using, the high level technology, I think it would be very interesting to discuss it.
Yeah, yeah. So technically, in the background that we have, we are using a lot of models for certain specific tasks, but we are also creating our own LLM called Skynet. I mean, forget about the name; it's just an internal naming that we have, so that we can remind our team that hey, we're doing this to
It's
prevent
memorable.
Skynet.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I'm sure you don't need to remind them. The name is very memorable.
Yes, yes. So yes, this one is the one that is, continuously feeding the god level hacker that we have in all of the commercial things that we're currently doing. Like for example, offering the AI pen test to a lot of enterprise companies and stuff like that. So all of the strategies that our AI agents is doing in there is being fit in this Skynet LLM in order for it to be much more intelligent and continuously learning a lot of other things so that yeah, it will be much more powerful when it comes to hacking. So yeah, that's what we are using right now.
And you said very interesting word in your answer. That word is enterprise.
Yes.
We know that enterprise customers are looking to adopt AI technology,
Mhm.
but the technology we're discussing here is very different. It has abilities and capabilities to find areas of exposure that should, some might argue, should never be found. Others would argue it's much better that you find it than someone else. How do you find traction with enterprise customers?
Yeah, so we started with the pen testing companies because this pen testing or security testing or hacking companies already know what we're doing or already know the tools. So technically, they are the easiest ICP for us. While in order for them to have more revenue, more profit, more customers without hiring more pen testers, they can just have our tool in order to do it with just two, three, five people and have 1,000 customers and stuff like that. And after the pen testing or the security team within the pen testing company, we're also providing this to enterprise that has security team inside. As of now, we are in talks with the Puma, and the CISO of Puma just joined us as an advisor also that will connect us to other CISO within the Europe
Nice. That's the fashion brand, right?
sports brand. Yeah.
Sports brand. My bad. Sports brand, of course. Very.
There is some time that they become a fashion brand. I think around 2010 below something, but it didn't work out. So they go to sports brand again. I think they're in the top three sports brand, top 4 or 5. But
No, I love it. And that's real traction. That's like, selling to a real company that is not just a tech company. You're not just part of the tech bubble or ecosystem and being able to close deals with that type of customer. That's a
Mhm.
huge positive signal as an entrepreneur. And, like being an entrepreneur, especially in this day and age when things are changing so fast and they're changing in at an increasing rate, you have to be a little bit crazy
Yes,
to
yes,
be to
yes.
step in and say, okay, we're going to build this thing
It,
and really start from nothing. So what's your story? How did it? How'd you get off the ground? You just saw all of these great tools and you put them together and you said, this is a product and we can build a company around this, or that's the
so
founding story there.
well, I started this solo. And then
Hmm.
when we became the number one in Expo and a lot of other traction that we got, then I hire a CTO, which is Coke, and then COO, which is Arne, and then a lot of other people afterwards.
Did you raise?
Yes, 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 yes.
Congratulations, that's an achievement.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if in your SF is like very, very fast when it comes to racing. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, how it started, how it all started, it's like because this is my second startup, by the way. The first startup that I have is after I got kicked out. I mean, no one wants to hire me, so I created my first startup, and then I became a national hacking champion twice, and then I authored a book called Cyber Defender, which told all of my crazy story on how I started hacking, and then I created a lot of products but failed. But there's one product in my first startup that succeed, which is Hakuna Anti-Hack. And this Hakuna Anti-Hack is the first mobile app in the world that track hackers. And it gained millions of users worldwide. And after 2018, we became the startup of the year by Impact Hub. And then 2020, successfully exited that company. And then after that, there's 1 month that I tried to retire, but it gets boring. So I went to Germany and yeah, I'm in work as an ethical hacker, dig deeper, surround myself with smarter people when it comes to ethical hacking. So, I will grow more because, I think you can grow more if you're surrounded with people that is much, 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 much smarter than you. And I got humbled a lot in there, which is really, really good experience. So in order for us to counter that looming threat, we created the weapon first. And to counter them, I mean, it's like a cybersecurity arm race that they are telling. So yeah.
I like it. It's very Cold War, like cloak and dagger.
Yeah.
Just be careful who you let use the system, huh?
Yes, of course, of course. I think this past few days, I talked with an ex-Pentagon guys, and then they're connecting me with the NSA and a lot of other stuff. And I got an investor that worked with CIA, so it's go sauce. I'm getting their attention.
And one would argue is that the race is that you mentioned, the let's call it cybersecurity offensive and defensive race. It's not a new concept. It's been going on for as long as the internet existed. But we can agree that with the adoption of new technology, let's not call out specific acronyms, but a new technology accelerates that race. And the margin of error becomes much smaller because the time to iterate over a new tool becomes much shorter. Where do you see this race going forward? How will it evolve? How will it develop? What do you see the next big news that will make all of us awe and be shocked?
I think it will exponentially change in the next few months, not years, but few months, because with the progress of the continuous learning and self-learning stuff, that a lot of startups is doing a lot of continuous learning, and there's a lot of buzzword regarding that, but there's a lot of things that is really working on that. So with that, it's exponential. And if ever that there are some people that really focus on this one, like for like our team and maybe the other bad guys and stuff like that, then yeah, as of now, you can already see it. Like every day, there's a lot of big breach that is happening almost every day. Most of them are causing by some, what do you call this, some AI agents, and there's a flavor of AI in there. And yeah, if ever that.
What's the biggest threat vector based on your experience?
Have you heard about the Stuxnet? Yes, yes. So that specific attack is specialized in targeting the critical infrastructure. And imagine that time there's still not much of an AI, but they did it. And now that we have AI that can exponentially empower all of those things, imagine what it can be done. And imagine what those bad guys can be, do with this kind of weapon. That's why we are really, really speeding up in this mission that we're having, because it's happening. That's why we're not just focusing on the typical web. I mean, all of the competitors that we have focusing on the web and network and stuff like that. It sounds cute. So we are also focusing on the physical hacking, drones, robotics, IoT, and critical infrastructure and stuff like that. And we are training all of those attack surfaces that so that we can really, have a realistic approach on how a real hacker or a real bad guy can hack them. Because if they don't have that kind of reality or perception or view of how a real bad hacker will hack them, then they will have a false hope. Like, for example, a competitor is just focusing on web and they say, hey, you're securing your web. But what What if the IoT that is within your that is exposed in the public, or a network server that is exposed in public, that is connected to your web, can make your web vulnerable? Then you can still be hacked. So it is r- really becoming rampant, and that's why we're speeding up.
So would you say that you are building solution across all of the layers of security to prevent the lateral movement?
Yes, that's what we're trying to do.
That's a good thing. We should add it to a pitch.
I'm so curious, Sasha, why you didn't want to say AI earlier in your conversation, like in your question. You didn't want to say the words AI. You're avoiding it because, like, is it stigma?
I'm trying to leave space for implementation discussions, and I feel like just throw in AI and LLM, SLM, embeddings, all of those keywords, it's often diluting the focus of the discussion. But clearly these
It's okay. You
days,
can jump on the boat.
all of the modern technology stacks, you have to
There's a
implement
giant
the
boat. It's
automation.
made of money, and its name is AI. Alexis, though,
Mhm.
like, you've been through a lot, but I'm really curious if you would pick one thing that was the hardest thing that you've ever done in your entire life. Like, what would that one thing be? Hardest thing you've ever done.
Hardest. I think one of the hardest thing is deciding to do this second startup, because I know that if we successfully create the most powerful cyber weapon in the world, then a lot of government, a lot of countries will try to control me,
Or
will,
take it.
or I mean,
Or take it.
take it,
Yeah.
yeah, or maybe kill me or something, or
Well, let me ask you a
whatever.
question. Like, you must have considered, like, you describe this as a war, a cybersecurity information war. It is a war. I think everything that was going to happen is still going to happen. It's just going to happen
Mhm.
much more quickly. And so things will
Yes,
get more intense.
yeah,
And you must have considered the other side.
yeah,
You
yeah,
But you
yeah.
went to Germany, you had some conversations, it was really humbling, and you ended up on the good guy's side.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell us about that journey. Like,
sometimes I just wanted to become a villain, Back then when I was a kid, I mean, there's a lot of people that that make the hacker like the villain, but I'm
but
a
you
really
can
a
do some
weird
really
guy.
good things with, like, with the knowledge that comes from.
When you're hacking, you need to think out of the box always. And you need to be different. And whenever you're putting all of your strategy together. And when I was a kid, I'm always different. Like they like to, do this normal thing. But for me, I want to know what will happen if it breaks, or what will happen if I do this and stuff like that. I'm always curious. And there's a lot of what do you call this like bad things that that is happening whenever you are bad sayings that you will attract if ever that there's a lot of people that will see that
Yeah,
you're
people who don't
different.
understand, like, they make fun of us, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah,
say things that are not nice.
yes,
Let's look into the future for a
okay.
second. So I'll let you decide how far into the future you would like to travel for this exercise. But when you look into the future, Alexis, like, what does success look like for Kinosec and for yourself?
Great
Yeah.
question. Great question. Imagine a world where, when they see our logo, it's like the bat signal where, yes, where every high profile threat, high profile criminal, when they see that it is existing in that specific country, that it is protected by Kinosec, that it has the logo of Kinosec, they will feel fear. They'll be in tremble because our hacker is like a god. It's like you know all knowing. Like it can hack a lot of everything within that specific organizations. They will know everything, and from there we are creating a new world. It's like a new world. that has less crime and much better for the next generation. And yeah, I mean, that's the world that I am envisioning. And hopefully, that specific weapon will be autonomous and cannot be controlled by, by some evil people. So, what we're trying to do in there is if ever that there's someone using it, the one that is using it will be hacked first so that we can really make sure that the users are not the high profile threat themselves.
I want to double click into something. You said something that made me think something different about the product, and I want to clarify. Are you envisioning product that will go after the attacker, or its main purpose is to identify vulnerabilities across all of the layers? Or maybe it's a staged approach where you build a system that helps to identify exploits across all of the layers of the security. We
Yes,
talk about application, infra, corporate, and make sure there is no lateral movement exploit. And then maybe later you envision the add-on or a logic that will try to reverse hack into the initial attack.
so basically, to make everything clear or simple, we hack the client as just like a realistic hacker. So when we say realistic hacker, we will not limit ourselves with just vulnerability analysis. We will exploit it, chain the exploit, escalate privilege, and see if we can gain more exploit and see if we can have much more context of the other attack surface so that we can have more exploit in different attack surfaces. And that's how a realistic hacker do this kind of thing. And that's the value that we are providing in the enterprises that, hey, this is how the bad guys will hack you. And here, this is the report. And we give the report to them, the POC. And they can also see in our platform how the hack works. So they can watch it live hacking. So that's one of the most entertaining part for our clients, by the way. And, all of this things that you're seeing in the movie where it's escalate, it adds user, it deleted some kind of things, stuff like that, or it escalated the privilege. All of those things, they can see it. It's transparent. And in the report, they can see also some fixes in there that they can put. We also help them fix all of those things and stuff like that.
Be careful. Like the governments are going to come around and declare eminent domain, which is like they have the right to the property and they'll just buy it and they'll force it. It's the same rules that they use to
Yeah,
buy
we are
land.
actually preparing for that.
You're preparing for eminent domain acquisition?
Yes, because what do you call this?
Wow.
Yeah,
Especially the way you talk about it is very military technology. It's
yes. We're
it's very
preparing for all of
offensive.
those things because
Yeah.
once we enter this domain, we all know that there's a lot of looming threats regarding those kind of thing, and
Yeah.
we prepared something for that.
Okay, well, that's good. Another question that crosses my mind is that all of these LLMs, they have guardrails and there's safety programs and AI safety programs and very rigorous terms of service. And now there's that ISO
Yeah.
42001 standard.
Yes.
And everyone is like, let's play nice. Let's play by the rules. Here's the rule book. How does your software get around that? Because clearly, like breaking into systems is not part of it's an okay use in terms of
Great
their
question.
terms of service for Anthropic and OpenAI. So how
Great
does that
question.
work? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we have the Skynet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's purely without limits and without anything, without guardrails and stuff like that, and we can do a lot of things in that. So that's why we are having those kind of things for specific chain of exploit and digging deeper and stuff like that. Because for frontier LLMs, they can do information gathering, exploit, and sometimes vulnerability analysis. But digging deeper, chaining of exploit, escalating privileges, you need to do a lot of things in order to just do that.
So I imagine you use, this is my educated guess, use models similar to Grok that don't have those built-in guardrails. And you probably fine tune further with additional context based on your expertise and experience that team has.
Yes. Yes.
And a bunch of other models that are pretty open.
Will your product social engineer its way into systems?
Well, we have this case that our AI agent hacked the web application of our
Yeah.
client and then get
Yeah.
all of the API keys of that specific client. And one of those API keys is recent API key. And then our AI agent used that recent API key in order to get the admin email. And then after getting the admin email, it sent internal phishing to all of the companies. And I think that's you can say
So
it's social
yes, it
engineering.
does.
Yeah.
That's
So
social engineering.
and
My God, that's
that's
like spear phishing.
yeah, that's what I am telling a while ago, that we are not just a web pen testing company. It's like an all attack surfaces, like giving the real value, because all of the competitor, they will just stop in the okay, expose API keys. That's it.
And it makes sense, right? Because in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been so much money poured into the application layer security. There are a lot of, arguably, there are a lot of good solutions out there.
Mhm,
And should you adopt them fairly, you have a good coverage. But the security of the organization is so much more than the application layer
mhm,
or the web entry point. There are so
mhm.
many other ways to infiltrate the organization. And
Yeah.
some of those things you talked about. You talked about the networks, you talk about the IoT devices that might be on the network, and then would allow you to do lateral movement. Phishing is still pretty successful way to get into the organization.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there are some solutions that are meant to protect, but this is a cat and mouse game.
Yes. Yes.
The the attacker is always very creative and tends to move a lot faster than the defense against that attack.
Mhm.
So in other words, you much rather be the friends with the attacking force that has all of the knowledge and expertise
Yes.
in order to avoid your controls that meant to protect and still find the gaps. Because there is one thing that we know for sure: there is no such thing as utopia. There is no such thing as perfect system.
Yeah.
And with the complexity of systems that we build today, and with all of the changes in supply chain, it's quite feasible that there is something that is not known. I can guarantee you there are things that we don't know.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
If you could go back in time and meet a younger Alexis,
Mhm.
would you take that opportunity? And if you would, what advice would you have for your younger self?
Hmm. Yeah, I think I will take that opportunity, because whenever you start your first startup, you will have a lot of failures, or you will have a lot of mistakes, right? And I will go back and then tell my little self that hey, here are the mistakes that you should learn from, or so that you will not do that when you started your first startup, and your a lot of other things.
But would your younger self listen to your older self, or were you a rebellious, skeptical?
Well, I was a father of a pastor, and a lot of them just listen on what the Bible says. But for me, I am critically thinking. So I'm critically thinking of all of those things that is being fed to me. So technically, if ever that my future self fed that kind of information to me, then I will critically think also if this makes sense. If this makes sense, then probably yeah, I will I will listen to myself. But yeah.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. I appreciate good skepticism and I appreciate a good mistake too, because you really learn from it. Like, and
Yes.
it's like one
Yes.
of the
Yes.
best ways to learn. And if I went back and I met my younger self and I gave a whole bunch of like things to watch out for, I know myself. Like I would be very skeptical of my future
Yeah.
self. Just I would be skeptical of anyone. Maybe that's one of the things that drives us to be entrepreneurs is like we're just skeptical that this is the way it has to be. And so like let's fix it and let's change things and let's make things better
Hmm.
and like let's
Hmm.
build new systems, new weapon systems to like accelerate everything that's about to happen. Just help it along, help it move on faster.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
What's the next big milestone for you, Alexis, personally? And what's the next big milestone for the company?
Yeah. I mean, for me, the big milestone, I guess, is for me to learn more, explore more, and learn more, and do some, you know, don't be afraid to have some kind of mistakes and grow more when it comes to this kind of area and stuff like that, and maybe connect more to a lot of people, strategic advisor and stuff like that, and what do you call this, in order for me to really reduce the things that can make this go wrong, because this is a very delicate thing, by the way, because it's like I'm having a nuclear weapon within myself, that if I just put here and forgot to have the kill switch in there, then it will hack a lot of people and then hack their banks, make them zero, transfer to my bank, and a lot of other stuff. So, it's some kind of apocalyptic thing if ever that I made this wrong decision. So I really need to have this kind of strategic advisors and someone to talk to whenever, I'm having doubts and stuff, and maybe learn more. And for the company, the next milestone is for us, because we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 is the digital hacking, which is already in the market, and phase 2, the physical hacking. We already had the IoT, critical infrastructure. We have a case where we hack web application of a hotel, and then it is connected to an IoT management device that is controlling all of the doors, door keys, and
Or readers,
door
yeah.
codes and stuff like that. And then we successfully chain the exploit from web to IoT to those doors and control it and open the doors and close the doors and stuff like that remotely.
After the show, maybe we can connect. You can tell me which hotel I should not stay next time.
Yeah. I will tell you. And then for the phase 3, phase 2 is the next one. But for the phase 3, the creation of a god. That what I told you a while ago. That will be a sovereign level weapon.
What's been the proudest moment in your entrepreneurial journey so far?
Yeah, I had my first startup exit that is successful. Even though
Yes.
I did a lot of mistakes in there. I mean, I
That's the
cannot
hacker
say.
tracking thing, right?
Yes, yes.
How did you track the hackers? Like, how did that work?
Well, what do you call this? There's a lot of things back then. I mean, it's very long time ago. But from there, there's an underlying, what do you call this, secret sauce for that. That I think that's the one that has been sold to the government agency that acquired it.
I see. So it's like it's part of the acquisition and a special IP and it's top secret. So.
Yes.
All right, that's fair. Very cool. Super interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of the vulnerability and the shares.
Yes.
It's going to be an interesting next couple of months and next couple of years for sure.
Yes.
All this
Yes.
new weapons technology coming out.
Pretty exciting and pretty scary also.
Well, both at the same time, right? Like sort of super exciting, super scary, super good. So I'm
Yeah.
super glad that you're on this side of the fence.
Just have to embrace it and enjoy the ride.
Yes.
It's not about a destination, it's about the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Okay, well, thank you to all of our listeners for tuning into another episode of the Security Podcast of Silicon Valley. I was one of the hosts, John McLaughlin, joined with Sasha Sinkovich, the other host.
Thanks everyone for joining.
And our amazing guest, Alexis Lingad, the founder and CEO of Kinosec, the new weapons technology. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for those new hackers, all of the agentic bots flying around. If you listen to this show and you found it useful, found it interesting, please share it with your friends and rate us. Comments and feedback most appreciated if you feel it's so warranted. And please stay tuned for another episode of the Security Podcast of Silicon Valley. This has been a YSecurity production. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. One last thing before you go. Think about who you were 20 minutes ago. Maybe security's been that thing that's on your roadmap, that thing that you'll get to right after the next sprint, the thing that you'll get to after the raise or after something. But here's the truth. SOC 2 and ISO, these things are not just checkbox. They're keys. It unlocks enterprise deals. It opens up regulated industries. It's the difference between selling to a 10-person startup and closing Fortune 500s. That's where YSecurity comes in. We don't just advise, we build. SOC 2, ISO, done right the first time, 40 plus engineers from Apple, Uber, Microsoft, Robinhood, Brex. This is not guesswork for us. This is all we do. And maybe you're not the one who needs this, but you know a founder who does. The one trying to break into bigger markets, the one doing the 0 to 1 thing. Send them our way. We have an awesome referral program. We pay for introductions that turn into partnerships. So head to ysecurity.io/startups. The first 8 hours are free. 40 engineers, 1 full working day entirely on us. YSecurity has your back. See you in the next episode.